trying to run a business on your own. Fuck me.
We've got multiple clients now who have £1 million portfolios, and they've done so very, very quickly.
I know. I'm just really fucking proud of like all these guys that have come through, started working with us, and they're getting these awesome results. It's really fucking satisfying. Like out of all the businesses, I love that the most, because you're properly changing people's lives. Like, you know, they're coming here and achieving these crazy results that they never really believed were possible.
Welcome to the Real Wealth Podcast, and welcome to 2024. This is our first podcast of the year, and I am joined by my two business partners, Mr. Conor Tracey and Mr. Laurie, Duncane. And we're going to be going through our review of 2023, not just from a business performance, but generally personal performance, how 2023 went for us, how we think 2024 is going to go from a business perspective, and specifically within the property market. And I'll maybe talk a little bit about some of our big events in 2023, the highlights of 2023, and certainly for me, some of the highlights on the podcast as well. So let's get into it. Welcome, guys. How you doing?
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us on.
Everybody happy to be back at work?
Absolutely.
Laurie Duncan's got a new image. You know, he's going with the Elton John jackets now, so, you know, I'm looking forward to the glasses when they
Always
start
been
to
a little
change.
bit fruity, but I'm going all out this year. So.
Awesome. So everybody kicked into gear for 2024, ready for a big year. We always find that, you know, by the time we've had the 2 week shutdown at Christmas, we cannot fucking wait to get back to work, to get back to it.
Next few days, ready to go again.
Yeah.
Won't be doing that again.
You said on the 24th you weren't working again until after Boxing Day.
I know. Oh, God.
But, you know, it's just testament to how much we love what we do. You know, at the end of the day, it's what drives us. And, you know, it feels like there's a bit of a hole during the Christmas period. It's good to refresh. I do feel like I've got new energy for it going back into 2024 after the break. But
I was surprised that was the level of activity that actually happened after we shut down. So we finished on the 22nd. And that was a manic day, like a record day for us, for one of our businesses on that day. But it was usual, just try to get completions done. Lawyers were finishing early, and then, you know, Christmas Day came and we were still getting inquiries. Like, we back home in Scotland had 2 leads come through on Christmas Day, 2 separate sellers.
You converted them.
Just, I don't know what the fee were from. Just madness. And in total, like through that kind of 10 days, if you want to call it, I think we had over 100 leads.
Yeah.
100 different people inquired about selling their property quickly at a time when nobody does.
Fucking brilliant time of year though. I was like, for inquiries and for our clients and all that, I was getting everything geared up for January, you know.
Well, but, you know, we were also getting geared up for a very quiet December.
Yeah.
You know, plans in place to deal with the fact that there wasn't going to be much happening, and we had to finance this 2 week shutdown as well.
Yeah.
We were expecting a very, very difficult month, and it ended up being one of our best on record. You know, so that is, you know, extremely positive.
Traditionally, at property, most people say like, "Oh, January's when it kind of picks back up again." And like, honestly, we spoke to a number of leads where they were on the market or they were getting ready to go on the market, getting agents out, and agents literally told them, like, it's pointless to put your property in the market right now. Wait till next year, and then I'll get it live. And we'll just say, look, like, that's fucking nuts. I've never heard that before. But it is standard that things taper off towards the end of the year because everyone's thinking about Christmas and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then they think January, all of a sudden, it's like new year, new me, everything booms. But it doesn't. It actually takes till the end of January into February, because by the time you've, as estate agents, this is what I mean, but they typically go and do valuations. By the time the clients then had 3 valuations, agreed what agent they're going to, you then get the surveys done, then you get the whole report back, and then you get the photos done. You're talking end of January into February before the property's on the market. Yeah. So then you're not seeing activity from like you're 2 months, 3 months into the year. Whereas we've literally, it did not stop at all. And January's kicked off to a flyer as well because the momentum's just carried on. Yeah.
And that's the word, you know, it's the momentum we built up over the last year. And we'll get into a bit of that because that's been really the crucial thing for us in 2024 is finally gathering some momentum after, you know, 2 years of trying to pull things together, you know, so that is definitely something worth talking about. So, you know, I think for anybody that's kind of new to the podcast, just to give them a bit of background into what it is that we do before we get into the guts of it, is we are one of Scotland's largest private landlords. We have over 220 properties. We're in the process of buying another 100, so we'll be at 320 very soon. We have scaled our portfolio over a relatively short period of time, and we aim in the very near future to be Scotland's largest private landlord. So that's a big focus of our business. But not only do we do that, we have a business, Real Property Scotland, which supports other people to build their own buy-to-let portfolio. And I think the key difference in what we do versus a lot of other training companies out there is we support people through the process from start to finish. We don't only train them how to do it tax efficiently, finance it in the best way to get the maximum out of their investment. You know, we have learned all these tricks over time and we share them with our clients for sure. But the key difference is supporting them with the deals and opportunities through our We Buy Homes Scotland model, which again, we are aiming for that business to be Scotland's number one sourcing business of property investment opportunities. We help them get through the process of buying those deals, financing them correctly, get out the other end, get as much of their money back and maximise their investment. It's an end-to-end service that a lot of training companies can't even begin to start to offer. So that has been hugely game-changing for us last year, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But that was just to give you a flavour. We also run Town and Country Property Auctions for Scotland, which is part of the overall deal sourcing machine that we have. And there's a bunch of other things going on in the group, as there always is. We're always looking at new business opportunities, but those are our key focuses. So guys, 2023, what has it meant to you, and what are the big takeaways?
The biggest thing for me was we changed the structure of the training business, right? And I think it must have been the start of the year we were talking about it. We implemented changes in March, and then we really started to bring on a hell of a lot of clients. Like we've got 65, 70 guys we're working with now in our group. Yeah. And the majority of them all came through over the course of the last year. Yeah. And we changed up the structure. We weren't doing these kind of 4-day events anymore. The support mechanism changed. We created the community. We still do these live events, been bringing guests in, and the deal supplies went off the chart as well, right? I mean, we're doing more deals now than I've ever seen, and it just continually gets bigger, like month by month. Got so many kind of opportunities going on. But the thing that I love most about it is just seeing all these people come through. They're looking for an opportunity. I think we've found our space in the market. There's like companies up and down the country that are like training companies. And okay, we educate and all that shit with people, but ultimately we're helping them build buy-to-let portfolios, right, at massive scale in a short period of time. That's our fucking niche. And I'm just really fucking proud of all these guys that have come through, started working with us, and they're getting these awesome results. It's really fucking satisfying. Out of all the businesses, I love that the most, because you're properly changing people's lives. They're coming here and achieving these crazy results that they never really believed were possible until they started to work with us. We've got the different levels, pro partnership consultancy, and that has massively changed our business.
I think that it's the power of the network, and seeing when we do all these networking events, seeing the quality of the network that we've created with the guys that are involved with us now.
Yes.
And then the hope and intention that they're going to be working with us for a long period of time, as we achieve the targets that they've set out.
Like 12 months ago, we never had this network, this community. We never had it. And we were talking about this about a year ago, saying we need to create it, we need to kind of change things up. We've done that. And we've got the results from it,
The difference is, and the reason why there is this retention, and we want to work with people for as long as they want to invest in property.
Yeah.
And the clear difference is that being a trainer or a training provider, if you think about back to your corporate careers, or if you had to get any training done, they had somebody come in for a day and you sat and you done a boardroom and then the guy just fucked off again. That's training. You get given some information, you learn something new on the day, and then they bounce and then they move. He gets paid to go around other companies and teach you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That is what training is.
Yeah.
What we do is the education now just became part of the business. It is not the business.
Yeah.
And when that business launched, it was purely a training business. We will teach you. So you come, you do the seminar, you do the 4 days, we will give you all our knowledge, put it onto you, and then, away you go and implement it. But we've massively changed that model to being, we provide you with the education. So literally the simplified options, if you want to invest in property in Scotland, we can find you the deals, we can fund you, we can teach you, and we can support you.
And I keep going back to this point, like any time you mentioned the word like momentum for us, right? And it's the same for our clients, right? But if we go back to the first day we were in the Temperance House development, when it was still in its raw form, there was me and Eck, a couple of laptops, a Wi-Fi router,
and a whiteboard.
Right?
Yeah.
And we were like, do you know what? I think we should start this training company. And it was literally just an idea.
And you know, the best bit about that for me, thinking about it, and it's fair to talk about it openly now, but the only reason that you had that concept was it was like, we could probably make some money on this. Pay us it, right? That was the goal. It was like, we just do X amount, they pay us this to learn what we know, then we can get paid, and that's cool. That pays us some salary, we grow the buy-let, and that's all good. And that's what a lot of people I find sitting there doing who do coaching or mentoring or training, is that's all they're doing it for, is they want to fucking get paid. And they see that it's a popular industry right now. It's the easiest thing to do is, I've learned this, well, I can just tell them that and people will pay me. But that isn't what it comes down to. That's not effective. And eventually that mindset that you guys had in the beginning, that's changed.
You know? Well, it's not just that. Like, I remember the initial conversations when we were putting the structure of the course together, laying down what the fundamentals of being a property investor means and the things that you need to do. And we got to the phase 2 stuff, which is massive scale rapidly. It's it's the formula we had figured out to rapidly scale. And we were like, should we share this?
I know.
You know, should we tell? You know, is it not enough just to give them all the other stuff, or not tell them about this, because then there'll be other people doing what we're doing, and that becomes a conflict. And those were genuine conversations we had, and then the reality is when we started to implement the course and we did show everything. Fucking nobody implemented.
I was going to say that.
Nobody.
That was astonishing for me. It still is to this day. We still teach all of these higher advanced strategies, about this phase 2 thing. But it's just a bit too intense maybe for people, and we realize that was another realization. Most people coming to work with us are just looking for that, to get up and running or push a little bit further. Nobody necessarily wants to own 200 units. That's a bit too crazy for a lot of people. Never mind 300.
To be fair though, since we've launched the new model with the consultancy, the partnership, we've had our first meetings where we're actually now talking to clients about phase 2.
Well, this is the difference, and that was the frustration of putting out what we thought was a phenomenal course and seeing very little results from any of the clients in the first 2 years, to realising that they need more support from us, they need access to the deals, they need support through those deals to get them done and move them forward, and to implement that last year and see how incredible it's worked. We have.
Just remembered there when eventually the guys offered me, we went in the business together and I became an owner and a director and all that. We had a conversation when you were telling me that you were concerned about even letting me access the course at the start. I found that
because it was a little bit too valuable. And even these initial, I think about this often about when you Ken, we were talking about maybe doing something together, but at that time, right, we were just the guys buying, you were the guy just trading us the deals. And we never knew how each other was going to be in business now, I think it's fucking phenomenal the way it's all developed, because we're just doing so many different things collectively. But you were talking about, I can't remember the exact conversation, it was no, I don't, you didn't want to be involved in training, and you did. I don't think you even wanted to do sourcing necessarily. It was more like develop the group type of idea. And we've kind of brought everything back full circle, and we're kind of doing it all now, It's bonkers to think back about it.
I think about it a lot because we have kind of done full circle, and the original plan was, could we launch a sourcing business? I run it, and this is what we do, and we kind of grow up from there. And it just didn't feel like the right thing to do. It was come into the group, let's see what we can do, start to grow certain elements. I think if we did what we're doing now and started sourcing right then, it probably wouldn't be.
I agree. But it's and that's the thing. It's just developed. It's just this momentum. We've just kept going. We've just kept building. And we say the same to the clients. Just get your first deal done. Get the next few done. Keep riding this relentless momentum wave, right?
Because unfortunately in Scotland, 99% of people have this pessimistic mindset, especially when it comes to making money. And when anybody sees someone having a bit of success, i.e. REWD, hitting 200 units in 2.5 years, and then people are like, how many times we hear, but what goes up must come down, and everyone's expecting the next week to see, the REWD boys have went bust, they fucking failed or whatever.
Yeah.
And when it didn't come, and it still hasn't came, and people are like, when's it going to fucking happen? But the longer we keep going, the more we keep growing, people are like, fuck, maybe these guys are legit. The amount of people I'm getting who've been watching this for years now, who've been watching us at the start, just keep watching, and I'm like, right, fuck me, I'm maybe ready to do something. Because they see that this isn't just some Ponzi scheme or fucking, made up thing, and we're not just punting training courses. We're a legitimate business that we're adding assets to our business every single year. So are our clients. That doesn't disappear overnight, and that's what people need to understand.
And that's why, I hate referring to it as the training business, because it's really not anymore. And I see it more as an investment business. Okay, there's some FCA reasons why we can't call it that, but that is more akin to what we are now. It's a much more holistic offer.
Absolutely, because even yesterday, our first strategy day of 2024, we're planning this kind of slight detachment of the education. We're going to build that out, a proper education side of the business, because that's not just what the business is anymore. But we will offer that, and it will be the best genuine education that you can get for investment in Scotland, because we're doing it every fucking day. And we've helped other people. I mean, we've got multiple clients now who have £1 million portfolios, and they've done so very, very quickly.
I know. But look, initially we're talking here about the quote unquote training business, Real Property Scotland. But we were talking briefly before we came down the stairs, and it's like, fuck, we actually bought like 30 or 40 units ourselves as well in the last year, and it's like that shit just doesn't even seem to register anymore. Because it's just a regular. We've got this 100 units going through there now. I mean, we're doing all that shit naturally
because it's like big enough now for us.
It's bonkers. But all that shit is happening. Never mind the 100 units that the clients have done in the last even 12 months, about 9 months.
You get people whose life ambition is to own one property as their own home, and we're buying 30 and they're even fucking thinking it matters. It is a bit kind of shake yourself a little bit. Like, fuck's sake. Perspective and all that. But it's true, we just have these bigger ambitions, and the only reason we only bought 30 is because we're waiting on this big refinance that we've been going through.
We've got the big refinance, we've got the fucking market conditions that, Christ, I mean, that has...
and this is the next point, right? Because, obviously things were very positive with the RPS and that business growing, but, you've got the counterbalance to that of, it was a very good time last year for people getting into the market as new landlords because of the opportunities that were available. However, it was very challenging for existing landlords. And as one of the biggest in Scotland, it was very challenging for us navigate through the last year and managing it when interest rates went through the fucking roof.
I had people who have paid zero attention to my business or my career, but mates of mine, and then when it was all the rates carrying on, we're checking in to see like how he is now. It's like, it's fucking horrible, but
but that's the benefit of having fucking high yielding stocks, right? I mean, we keep going on and on about that to everybody, like, didn't it? But if you get the city slickers on their low yielding properties, they're not making any fucking money. They're shafted, whereas we're still able to manage it.
We have, and that has been a massive testament to our gross yield across the portfolio, because there's very few people that could sustain the level of interest we've had to pay over the last year.
People are, honestly, they don't even have a clue what that pain would look like. And they might have one property and they panic, oh, my mortgage has doubled to it. Like fucking 200.
It's the same for folks' hussies and all that as well, you know what I mean? Like, they're having to deal with all that type of issue now. It's a fucking crazy market. But that's all been going on as well for the last...
Well, no, not just that. The interest rates is one element of it, and then you've got the Scottish Government and the eviction bans and rent caps, and that has hit us to the tune of probably a couple of $100,000 over the last couple... Well, because it wasn't just the last year or so, it was all the way during COVID. Then on, so we've had tenants long-term not paying any rent and not being able to get them out. So okay, the rules have been massaged a bit over the last, that allowed a 3% increase from April onwards, but there was still an implementation time, and what's 3%?
I know,
it's insignificant.
3% is also fuck off, they don't pay.
Exactly.
What difference does it make?
So in a lot of these cases where the guys haven't paid, and then we've had to issue eviction orders and gone through that process, it's a fucking saga. Like, and tenants are just ripping the absolute piece because they know they can't. You know,
I was saying this to Alex Engel the other day, and it was about like HMRC or something. They just take their money. Like, they just get paid, right? They go in and they take the money.
Yeah.
You don't pay the bank their mortgage. They just take the money. They don't take it. You're fucked.
Yeah.
Your council tax.
Aye.
You don't pay your council tax. They'll slap a security on you. You know.
I feel it.
Not only that, they're going to start repossessing houses in certain areas for council tax.
Council tax.
They have studied that, mind.
It's for a thing.
Council doing a big crackdown on it.
Yeah.
But it's like all these other people get it, but then if a tenant doesn't pay a landlord, it's just no problem.
I know.
There's no repercussions. There's not even any. There's not even any necessarily any impact on their credit rate. They can still have solid credit and they've not paid the rent in 2 years.
To these things, but it shouldn't be voluntary. It should be compulsory. If you're going to fucking not pay, most people's biggest overhead is a fucking mortgage on their house, right? So if it's your rent, you're not going to pay that. How the fuck do you get away scot-free? It doesn't make sense for anybody. It's just this like narrative of trying to punish, the landlords or the wealthy, but look at how many landlords have 1 or 2 properties. Most of them are accidental, not professional investors, not doing it the way we are doing it, and yet they're still getting punished the same way that we are. Thankfully for us, because we aren't just amateurs and we're doing it professionally, we consider these risks when we do what we do.
I mean, we've managed to navigate through a very difficult time. We'll get into 2024 in a bit, but I expect some improvements next year. This year now. But it's been painful. It's been really painful to go through all the effort that we have to for very little benefit, if any, in the short term. But this is not a short term game, property investment, so you have to take the rough with the smooth, and there are some really fundamental market shifts that happened last year that could benefit landlords massively in the long term. So one example of it is in Scotland, the average rent increase is 13% for the year. That's fucking massive. So you tend to find that rents were suppressed for a long period of time because we had extremely low interest rates, really from 2008, from the crash up until more recently. So that allowed rents to stay depressed, but now interest rates have gone up. That means rents have gone through the roof. And take that in context, 13% when there's a fucking rent control in place. So you've got all these properties that you can't do anything with. The 13% market-wide has come from just the small amount of properties that are going back onto the market for re-tenancy. Now that means that those rents were going up much more than 13% compared to overall market conditions. So that's a massive move, and it's one that's not going anywhere. I think rents are going to go up significantly again this year because of supply and demand. They've created this situation where you've been stuck with tenants not paying the rent for a long period of time, not being able to evict them. You've not been able to increase your rent for so long. So when a property comes back on the market and you've got mass demand because nobody can get anywhere near it, then you're going to take the opportunity to try and recover some of those losses in the last few years.
Necessary.
And the view, I think, for a lot of people that are external to this, are landlords are just ripping the piss. We're not. If you look at long-term rent increases, over a 10-year period, they're not that significant year on year. Okay, all of it's happened in the last few years, but that's driven by interest rates. It's driven by government rent controls. It's driven by the amount of lost revenues landlords have had during COVID restrictions and the extra 18 months that the Scottish Government piled on top of it. So that is a massive opportunity now because rents are going up significantly. We know that interest rates are expected to start coming down now. They're certainly under control because inflation's under control. And then the next question becomes, what are the Scottish Government going to do about all of the stuff they need to unwind as of the 1st of April? And we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's not forget, though, we're also in a market that is not particularly buoyant at the moment. People that have been in their 30s like me, who have only ever known low interest rates and bought big houses.
You're just 39 and a half, motherfucker.
In my 30s, fuck you. But they've only ever known low interest rates, so they bought these big houses. And now a lot of those fixed term mortgages are starting to come up
Aye.
for renewal, and their mortgages are doubling.
Yep.
People can't afford to live in the
Yep.
big houses
Yep.
that they have. That hasn't fully hit. There's still about 60 or 70% of these mortgage owners that are on fixed terms expiring in the next few years.
Yeah.
So the market has still got a way to go.
Aye, absolutely.
You've got the double hit now with the S&P bringing in these new income tax bands, because those who own, call it the $500,000 homes and plus, 75 grand earning sort of salary or income, they're probably on decent money, hence why they can afford these bigger houses. Now they're going to get taxed even more. So not only is the cost went up, their income's fucking down.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, a cost of living crisis at the moment, and the Scottish Government's response is, let's put up taxes. Baffling.
six tax bands, I'm going to have 3. Like,
Scottish Government have put ADS up from 3% to 6%.
they're literally just doubling. Aye. Consistent pattern there.
It's just, it is extremely challenging. However, because of this monumental fuck up, it leaves a massive opportunity, because there's very few people who are not doing, who are not professional landlords that are going to stay in this market.
Yeah.
You either know what you're doing inside out,
Aye.
because it's a challenging market to be in,
Aye.
and you have the opportunity to make great profitability long term,
Yeah.
or you're out of the market, and you're selling off, for 70 pence in the pound, because nobody is buying in that investment market right now.
Which is typical of a lot of the deals we're seeing as well, right? But it's our clients that are able to pick them up with our support to buy that discounted stock. So, aye.
So going forward, obviously that's going to feed into more deals, more opportunity for us, more opportunities for our clients, growing. Interest rates start to come down, rents continue to go up, then it's a really nice place to be a landlord.
Happy days.
As long as the Scottish Government don't do anything fucking mental as of the 1st of April. So we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
So that, broadly speaking, is 2023. Anything you just want to add?
I think just the expansion of the team and the solidification of the team, because I think we've got maybe 15 of us now kind of working together on growing this business, and I think that's great to see, the expansions of the upstairs office. We built that space to run events, changed up the structure, increased the team. I just love it coming in when it's like a busy, full office and everybody's hustling and bustling. I just think it's fucking class. That's been a big change in 23 as well,
I think for us personally, the 3 of us, I think we've developed into becoming business owners a lot more in terms of strategy, and starting to think about future. What is the business actually doing? What moves are we making now that will benefit us in 5-10 years, rather than just day-to-day knocking our pan in kind of thing. Certainly I can see that across the 3 of us, because we're now talking differently, taking different actions, we're expanding the services and the group offerings, and they're all related, they all benefit each other, they all work together, but before it was just like, oh yeah, we're just going to do this, and that was it. And we've had to think more strategically about it, given pressures and other factors.
I mean, you forget it was only this time last year that we started talking about 2 big changes, which was one, to implement these regular strategy days where we take ourselves away and we look at things more strategically and holistically, and start making better decisions. And the other thing was realising that we need to stop doing things as all 3 of us each take our individual roles, and
we're much better at that. We're much better at that. Like, work's divided up, we tend to be a bit more efficient with that stuff these days as well.
Definitely. I think the only other thing for me for 2023 was obviously the podcast and launching that, and we're going to be a lot more religious about it this year, because I ideally would have liked to keep one episode going out every single week without question, and we missed a few weeks here and there last year, but it was a great opportunity for me to speak to some really interesting people, and to also start looking at other investment strategies. We're very property investment focused, but as you start to make a bit of money in property, you want to start looking at diversifying and other opportunities. So to go from starting to investigate things like gold and silver investment, Bitcoin and cryptos, as well as speaking to a whole host of other business owners that are making big moves. I mean, that was a great experience for me. It's such a good learning experience, because it forces you to understand before you start interviewing someone.
Yeah.
I think he was saying we were talking about different. I think it was after we had Declan on about crypto, and he was talking about what he does, and I'd have a similar conversation just with my mate about business and different things. And he's a corporate solicitor. He was telling me about this deal that was going through, a £20 million deal, and the fucking business makes eggs. Like, and I'm just like,
the business makes it.
like that's the
Like
They've got a giant chicken and a fire.
eggs. And I was just like, I don't get this. Like, we're fucking, property, we're trying to bust our arse and all, million here, million there, and this guy's just fucking get hundreds of chickens, makes eggs and get 20 mil. I'm just saying there is another level of business out there.
Oh, aye, there's always another level, right? And I think the other thing that was a sparkle in our eye probably 12 months ago now was the finance co, right? And it was our objective to launch that last year, and we couldn't quite get it there, albeit now it's in legals, and we've got this 100% loan to purchase funding thing going on and like that. So that's taken like a fucking year to get to this point now, And it's back to this whole point about kids. You speak to so many people that they want this like immediate result. They want the result now. They're not willing to go through the pain. Fuck me, you look at the amount of time and effort I've had to put into that to get it to where it is now.
Also, though, mate, we are quite guilty of that because of the way we managed to scale, or you guys scaled the portfolio and formed REWD in the first place, because it just exploded. So you do expect results rapid, and you forget that it's actually not as easy as that. And that kind of hit me when we had Mark Laurie talk at our last live event, performance coach.
That was
when
brilliant.
it was like 3 fucking years and he never been paid out of his own business.
Yeah.
And then when he did get paid, he was paying himself £100 a week. Right? And people just like are moaning that they've not made any money in 3 fucking months. And this guy's done 3 years for making anything. Getting money off his missus just to keep going. And that's why I was like, even if you've got a great idea, doesn't mean it's going to happen like that.
No.
I go back to the book on Jeff Bezos starting Amazon. He told his investors Amazon wasn't going to make money for 10 years. Yeah. So give me your money. I'm not going to make any money for the next 10 years. Yeah. But I am going to build a monster infrastructure that is going to become one of the biggest companies in the world.
And I think that's the difference now, is that we are aware that buy to let and investing in property is a long game. Yeah. Whereas I think clients, when they see everything, they think it's immediate. And at least Bezos recognised, I know I'm not going to make money in 10 years. I was sure we were going to make money today. It didn't work out like that.
I think last year, the kind of summary for me was like what we went through last year to get RPS to where it went to get through all the buy to let stuff, as well as all the personal shit we've got going on, as usual. Yeah. I just felt like, getting through this, we're really going to deserve it to hit that height. I think getting through those tough years, and albeit there was a lot of good in last year, is the thing that makes a difference between those that succeed and those that don't.
110%.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like we deserve it now.
Fucking right.
Couldn't agree more with that. You think about all the other stories of big business guys that go under, or even like other smaller businesses that tried, then they crumble and they fail, and a guy loses his marriage and his house and shit like that, and you're just like, fuck, like that's brutal. But then you realise all the pressure and you're like, fuck, but the main point is they gave up and they didn't continue, and that's the key.
And they probably didn't fucking meditate, I tell you what.
I don't know.
Exactly. Like I cannot emphasise that enough. Like how big a deal that is for me. Like that whole like kind of de-stress, like declutter of all the shit going on in your head. Yeah. Like just that kind of 10-20 minutes of closed eyes, quiet time. Fucking hell.
I'd done it the week before we came back. Well, it kind of started, it was like the 2nd or 3rd of January or something. We were coming back to the office on the 8th, and we had a big deal, 25 grand, that looked like it was just fucking gone, it was going to die. It's a big fucking problem right there. And I took myself in the car and I drove to the garage, and by the time I got to the garage, I'd figured out in my head what we were going to do.
Because that's it. You just need that, like, kind of time to yourself, a bit of me time. Yeah.
So, but your mind does it. Immediate things like, fuck, this is huge. And then it's like, actually, no, it's not. Yeah. And how many times do we talk about things and an idea, but round and round, and then this fresh idea pops up and boom, it solves everything. Yeah. It's just, you just need to keep going.
That's it, man. And then, but then you look at where we are now, like, you know what I mean, and it's really fucking exciting.
I do feel though, for for those business owners that are just on their own.
Fuck. Again, like I put a soppy post out towards the end of the year, I think it was, just giving a bit of kudos. Giving a bit of kudos to the two of you, because it's so fucking true. And I was thinking that just as you were talking there. I cannot imagine trying to do that. Never mind this. Trying to run a business on your own. Fuck me. Like, I did not. I always had, see, when I was like growing up and shit and in my corporate career, and I always wanted to like have my own business. I never had business partners in that equation. My dad always told me, nah, I didn't get into business with anyone because, oh, he was fucking toxic. That's what happened to him. He got shafted multiple times along his business journey. That was in my head. I was going into business on my own. Fuck getting into business with anyone else. It's too complicated. And now I'm like, fuck, it's necessary. You would be so like, and respect for the guys that fucking do it.
The amount of pressure on their shoulders.
Oh, you're so alone. Whereas we're always talking about shit, like running ideas, problems, whatever. But we come up with the solutions because of the collective.
Our best solutions come from collective discussion.
100%, man.
That's the thing.
wild.
If you're on your own, like, you're not entitled to like a bad day.
I know.
Yeah. If I have a bad day, like it's sound because you guys are there, and whatever, you know, like a bad. Sorry, boys, good now. But if you have a bad day, and the decisions and the actions you take that day, and you might not be able to fulfill them.
I know. We're really lucky in that regard, but it's just how we've developed again. It wasn't really a plan, you know. It was just like you just keep moving forward, right?
It was only it was only 2022, I think, that we finally signed a shareholders agreement. Just been doing everything organically, you know, 200 odd properties and no shareholders agreement. You know?
I know. Yeah, so 2024 is very exciting. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. Granted, there's still kind of issues around, and you know, we're constantly dealing with problems.
That's business.
That's business, right?
Did I post about that yesterday? You just need to accept that if you think that it's easy, just forget it.
I know.
It's never going to be. Problems will always be there. Don't know what they are, don't know what size, what scale the problems are, but they'll fucking be there.
But that's why it's so important to focus on your ability to deal with the fucking problems and keep moving forward.
And the tragic thing about all of this is, at the end, if the problems go away, you'd be fucking lost. And it goes back to this psychology that a lot of people who build their business and then sell it, they're fucking lost. They might have a bunch of money in the bank, but what the fuck you going to do with yourself when all you've been doing is that?
Problems go away, you're dead.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing fuck all if you don't have any problems. I go back to that tennis document, and it's in my head now. It's one of my favourite quotes about that pressure is privilege. Because it means you're doing something that's worthwhile. To have all that pressure, exactly. And I never thought about it like that. And it was about them standing on centre court, whole crowd tearing down on them, and it's just them. They've not got a team. Okay, they've got some people on the sidelines cheering their name, but it's fucking them. And the other person at the other side feeling the exact same pressure. You know, and it's just like, that is a lot. And you see a lot about sports stars that fucking wobble because they can't sustain it. Business is even worse.
I think like we've learned a lot, obviously, from doing like just being in business, right? But there's also still a lot of personal development that goes on, like individually, whereas we're all listening to different things and doing different things, and not only that, but then it's like we're in and we're talking about them, we're sharing a lot. Did you hear that bit about that, and what about this? And you gave an example about the rewarding yourself first thing the other day, and it's like, that's all super fucking cool. But again, if you're on your own, like, you just don't have that shit. So firstly, if you're in business and doing it on your own, but we've all certainly found it like massively valuable and beneficial, just working together, you know. Like, I fucking love that.
The way I texted me over the break, it was, employees are flying, do you know, consider going your own. I literally replied to him saying, not a fucking chance.
That was another thing, like when I used to work in Allied, and it was like the pipes fittings thing was my corporate career, like I had no appreciation. I used to think that I knew like what was going on in the business because I was like one of the senior guys. I say senior guys, I was like just a fucking sailor, but like I was making all the money and all this kind of shit, and I just so naive. Looking back, it's always the same. Once you're a bit more experienced, you look back and you think, fuck, that was crazy, you know. And I just didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. I had no idea about managing cash flow and people and overhead and fucking projections and accountants and all the other shit that goes into like running a business.
I was,
You know,
like in the office in the house last week or something, and I've mapped out the skills that I want to improve on this year that I feel will benefit the business.
Yeah.
And one of them I thought was, I might actually need to figure out like about business, because I don't know. I just leave it to you guys. And I'm like, after joining that meeting, and I was like, I'm probably with the typical guy that when they've got a business partner, the business partner steals all the money. That's me. I don't get a fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah.
but it's true though, Ken. And at the end of the day, it's like in it, we can always like learn more, right? Whatever the topic is, however good we are at it, you know, we can always learn more. Even for like the accountancy stuff and all that, we were talking about, you know, one of the things for 2024, for example, is getting an ASA, serviced accommodation, for anyone that doesn't know, and the whole like the whole tax system and all that goes in to SA is so different from buy-to-let.
Yep.
You know, and it's a whole new kind of learning experience, and okay, we just need to ask some questions and get the information, but something we're looking to get into, so you know, we'll learn more about that like as we go further down the road.
Absolutely.
But it's never ending, the whole education and personal development thing. I think we're all quite good at that as well, but we're genuinely interested in it, right? We just we like developing, we like learning.
You have to be. You can't want a life of abundance and more in life and not willing to improve yourself.
That's it.
Your ability to earn gets better as you get better. So
Yeah.
you need to constantly be moving and growing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 2024, you know, I think we've got a pretty good feel for what the market's going to look like this year. Interest rates have stabilised. We're already seeing, certainly from a property investment perspective, we're seeing offers start to come down in terms of the interest rates, especially if they're fixed for a longer term period of time. I think Savills were saying the expectation is that, you know, we'll be talking about Q2 before interest rates actually start coming down, but then they expect them to move towards about 1.75 to normalise in 27 or 28, so a bit of time to go to get back to that level. But you know, if you look at a long-term view in property investment where your rents have gone up 13% in the last year and will continue to go up over the next few years, it could be a really nice place to be. You know, you've built your portfolio now when the market is on its arse, and you're getting the best possible deals, so you've created immediate day one equity in your business. Cash flow might not be great just now, but rents are going to keep going up. Interest rates should keep going down. You know, potentially a really nice place to be in 5 years for anybody that's getting into property investment now.
And that's the thing, even if we're talking rates coming down in Q2, Q3, you know, don't sit and wait till Q2, Q3.
I know.
It might not happen. You'll miss it, and all the opportunities that exist now, while pressure is still high on those who can't afford to pay the higher interest. So by the time you buy the deal, refurbish it, and then look to refinance further down the line, if you follow our scaling model, you know, you might capitalise on these low interests. But certainly don't try and time the fucking market.
Well, the important thing is the expectation that interest rates are going to come down means that the banks are offering longer term fixed rates at lower percentages because they expect it to come down. So, you know, we were running deals at like 6.5% to 7% at some points last year. Clients are now getting 5.5%, 6% top. You know, so it's already been a big impact. You know,
it's unreal to think, because we were doing deals at 4% like before. And people thought that was like, oh, I struggle to make a couple £100 cash flow. Fuck. You know, and now where it's at, we've still got some deals secured on that low rate, but that was probably one of the biggest frustrations, and it still is actually, because it's carrying on, is watching new business get rewarded rather than the long-standing existing well-paying clients by the banks.
I know. Aye.
You know, that just is infuriating. This part of the game, it's their terms, it's what you signed up to. But you know, you're paying 9% rate, and somebody walks in off the street, so you can have 6.
I know.
Because we don't know you're new, so come on in. Fuck.
At the end of the day, rough with the smooth and all that, right? It's part of the game.
It's part of the game, but it's just frustration.
100%. But I mean, as you say, I reckon this time next year, I think it will be a very different place. I mean, not only because we're looking at the refinance and all that anyway, but you know, we've got these new acquisitions and legals, the big ones, we're going to start to accumulate a hell of a lot more units this year on top of that, you know. And the market will be like much more favourable than it is now. Like fuck, I'm really excited, you know. These, you know, the 100 units we've got in legals just now for ourselves is like just like one fucking deal. Like never mind all the other, like, you know, we've got multiple JVs, probably what 20 units a JV this year as well. Like, you know, that could be like a 200 unit year this year. You know, there's no shortage of fucking deal supply, that's for sure.
No, I genuinely anticipate that our portfolio will double.
Well, exactly, that'd be that.
You know, and that's fine because, you know, we went as actively buying last year.
Yeah.
You know, momentum should shift now that we've done all that groundwork.
Definitely, man. I'm excited.
I think the only other thing from a property investment perspective to mention for 2024, you know, obviously rates important, where the market is, the deal opportunities, we all think that's going to be really good in 2024. What the fuck are the Scottish Government going to do as of the 1st of April in terms of the rent cap and eviction ban? They're at their legal limit. They have to shit or get off the pot, so to speak. And you know, they're going to have to change the legislation. So there was some worrying preliminary discussions last year that they might be putting a rent cap on even mid-tenancy transition. So not only a rent cap on existing tenants, but a rent cap on new tenants based on the previous rent, which would have got you into rent control areas like New York, which just is a fucking scary place to be, because then the value of the property gets tied to historical rents rather than what it's actually worth and what the market rent should be. Market rents would be going through the fucking roof, but your only opportunity at the moment to get an increased rent is to have a tenancy turnover. So, you know, that's been the opportunity for the last 12 months. You're almost quite happy when a tenant leaves because it gives you an opportunity to get up to market.
Oh, well, I mean, even when like we or the clients have been buying new stuff, if it's empty and they're putting it on the market, I'm baffled at the rents. I mean, I've got used to it now, but fucking 2-bed flats and fucking Allo are renting for £750 a month.
I just
fucking hell.
Just like got a deal there, and I was running red coats on it. 2-bed flat, Paisley, $850 a month.
Fuck me, like that's awesome.
That guy.
And the rents aren't going to come down. Do you know what I mean? The rents are going to stay up there.
Average rent in Scotland
still sitting there. They're worth 110 grand.
Yeah,
you get $850 a month on it. You paid full market value.
Yeah, it's a decent investment. The average rent in Scotland now is £1,115. So it's big. It's big. Thankfully, though, that rent cap discussion seems to have kind of disappeared into the ether. The latest.
I think with somewhere in New York, like it's like one city or even only one state or whatever. But they're talking about the whole country. That's like rough in my mind. It's whether it's correct terminology, whatever. It's like dictatorship stuff.
I don't believe it.
They just decide what they can charge across the whole fucking.
Well, you're removing the free market, you know. Free market conditions.
But the banks can put the rates up whenever the fuck they want. Your mortgage can go up and down, but rents just have to stay at this cap. It would be just fucking ludicrous. And I just don't see how they could have ever went with that.
It's like if you're selling products for £1 and you've got this manufacturing process and it used to cost you 50p and now it costs you £1.50. You can't keep selling the stuff for a fucking £1, do you know what I mean?
But, you know, there has been a lot of unreasonable legislation come in against landlords over the last little while, so we're right to be nervous about it. But the most recent chat actually sounds quite almost positive, that, you know, they're proposing that landlords can essentially put forward to the tenant a reasonable increase of rent, you know, whatever they feel is necessary. Then it's down to the tenant to say, I agree or don't agree with it. If they don't agree with it, they can go to a rent adjudicator, who will then assess it. If the proposal is broadly in line with market conditions, then it's unlikely that the adjudicator is going to go against the landlord in that situation. Albeit there's some sort of taper mechanism they're talking about, which we haven't seen. So that is going to be a big discussion over the next few months to see where that lands.
Exactly.
That sounds logical, though. But, you know, I appreciate them. I'm just going to say, like, you can stick your rents up and do what you want. That's not going to happen. I do consider it to be quite like when we negotiate on buying deals. It's like if you give a price and the seller doesn't tell you to fuck off, then you're like, oh, I've probably offered too high. So you're like, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that, and I reckon we want to get to the point where the sellers like, no, you can go fuck yourself. And I think that 3% red cap thing across the board is the go fuck yourself.
Yep.
And then they'll be like, right, okay, fair dues, we'll cut back a little bit, but it'll
Call
not
it
be,
4%.
it'll not be perfect. It'll not be perfect, but
Let's see though, man.
Yeah,
At the end of the
it's
day,
a fucking
the landscape will continually change. Like, that's cool. Like, we're up for the ride. Let's see what the fuck they say.
Yeah.
But I just take everything with a pinch of salt because some of the shit's proper radical,
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing about this discussion though is that it's imminent. There's no year of debate before it goes in. Like 1st of April, they have to have a solution in place.
Yeah.
so telling me that no SNP MPs that don't have a buy-to-let portfolio,
Exactly.
Yeah.
they'll just order cash with a fucking.
That's it.
So that's kind of broad view on what we think for the property market for 2024. Expecting lots of deals. There's still going to be a lot of people on fixed rate mortgages getting hit and having to sell their property. So we expect a below market value deal to be probably as strong as ever.
Yeah.
And not only in the single units, right, on the
Portfolio stuff,
Fuck
and-
me, we've traded a lot of portfolios over the last year as well. No, even the last year, probably the last 6 months. How many portfolios have we traded? Like
That-
the other clients.
That momentum will continue though,
Aye.
because actually the portfolio front, it hasn't always been the interest rates. In fact,
Yeah.
interest rates haven't really been the main thing. Okay,
Yeah.
some of the tenant stuff, I mean, we're getting tenants out, can't increase rents,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
It's more been fear factor of
Aye.
buy-to-let is dead.
Yeah, yeah.
And they all want to get out, but also natural progression of the baby boomers or whatever the fuck they were called.
Yeah.
They're all coming up for retirement.
Aye,
And
aye,
they're
aye.
cashing out businesses, not just portfolios, but their businesses. They're all want to wind down and
Yep.
cash in. And that's,
Yep.
I think we've got another 10 years or something. I can't remember what the year is, the time frame is, but I've seen the scale of how many of them will be coming up for
Retirement.
60 plus.
Yeah.
And for the next 10 to 20 years, it's fucking gold. Man.
I mean, we've probably traded somewhere in the region of 5.5 to 6 mil of portfolio deals to clients,
Yeah, yeah.
as well as the 12.5 mil portfolio deal we've got going through for ourselves.
Taking ours out of the equation, and I will not call it exact, but close. Up until December, we were close to £20 million worth of off-market deals that we had done,
Yeah.
Wow.
and that's excluding our everyday, 12.5 mil deal. 'cause
Yeah.
that'd just be
That'd be cheating. That'd be cheating.
But when you throw that in, it's big numbers.
Yeah.
We're not just amateur and part-time in this game.
Aye,
No,
aye,
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So what can people expect to see from us in 2024 as a business, as individuals? What's
I think even more kind of support, and I'm really back through to the finance co thing. That's going to be a fucking game changer for all our clients. It'll be a game changer for us, even for the vendors. It makes the whole process a lot more fucking sleek.
I think, like you said, LD, I think we found our place in the market now,
Yeah.
and we know who we are and we know what we want to do. So
Yeah.
we're just going to lean into that fucking big.
Yeah.
And
I think big, more deal flow, like, because again we've increased our marketing budget, right? That's all up for this year. There's bigger moves, more moves, growing the portfolio, big refinance.
And
There's a lot of shit to come for us this year.
we're making some changes to, just educate people in general about the opportunities in property, and they can do that and learn about it. But, coming to actually work directly with us and scale a property business and make serious money through property, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And what we do isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
For those who are, we will get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And then we work very, very hard to make sure we get you there.
Yeah, 100%. Aye.
I think that's a big difference.
We're also kind of talking about entering a slightly new space insofar as guys who are just looking to learn the basics of property investment and get their head into the game. They don't have to make this big commitment to come and work with us. We're looking at an online learning platform for people.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's what I was meaning about, for those who just want to learn about property and then, not kind of have to pay the big entry point level to come and do the courses. They can learn about this stuff. It's when you want to actually take the leap and to come in and start working.
Yeah, start buying.
And start buying and then genuinely investing and raising cash and doing all of that. That's where we kind of come into what we do best.
Yeah.
But we do want to start educating more people to hopefully eventually bring them into that step when they're, as and when they're ready.
Yeah.
And the other big change is that we want to probably give people some more access to us now on a regular basis, which we're talking about bringing these kind of monthly events at Gleneagles Townhouse again, a small group, but just opportunity to find out who we are, what we do, and how you can make money in property. Also inviting people to our kind of exclusive retained client events once a month as well, to just get a feel for it. It's not something we've really offered before. Not one of these kind of big public buy tickets, we'll hire a hotel type events anymore. Just come and see what our clients are doing and come and see what we're teaching and see if it's something that you want to get involved in, because we will create a tailored plan that gets you to where you want to be. And so that'll be a big change. You'll see people can come and see us more this year than probably any other year.
Oh, there's a lot to be excited about for this year, both in terms of the potential for us and our clients as investors, but also, in Real Property Scotland and seeing how that business develops and matures. Because I really feel like the first 2 years of that business were, just the foundations.
That's typical though, right?
Yeah.
Like, it takes that amount of time back to this hard graft and this whiteboard sitting on a couple of laptops. It's like, we were hoping fucking day one that that's just what happened, but it just doesn't go like that, We're now getting to the point where, like, we've built a fucking serious business. It just continually grows. We've done the 2 years of hard graft. We're into the third year now, I think. Maybe fourth, is it? I can't remember. Aye, so we've done 3 years of building.
Yeah.
It's typical for a business.
We're into our fourth.
Aye. So it's typical. It takes that amount of time, So it's not really any surprise to me that we are where we are now because of all the effort we've put in to get us here.
In this day and age, it's very easy to turn on the market. You can go and chuck some money at ads on Facebook and stuff like that, create a website and drive a lot of traffic to get people eyes on you. It's very different to service that, and we make our business focused on fulfillment. First, not the marketing. People obviously see you on social all the time. We only just get fucking started. Genuinely, we are not enough people know about who we are and what we do. But what we focused on is delivering, so that when we tell people this is what we do, we've got so much fucking evidence to prove it. And a lot of businesses don't do enough of that. Too many people want to shout about doing stuff before they've even done it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that the other thing for me for 2024 is I obviously want to move the podcast forward, bigger guests. We're going to be, we've got a lineup over the next little while. We're going to be speaking to some really interesting guys. We're all about understanding different wealth strategies, how people are making their money, and ultimately some of the pros and cons of all these different investment strategies to try and help people understand where they land. It's never always been about property investment. It's a great opportunity for me to learn, and the exciting thing for me is getting to speak to, it's almost like a free mentoring session with some of these guys, so it's a really privileged place to be, to get to do this podcast. And for me, I want to go bigger, I want to go more, I want to get bigger guests. And
the more diverse, the better. So genuinely, anybody knows the egg guy who did 20 mil, let us know.
That'd be awesome. Surely you can get that sorted, isn't it?
I think he's allowed to tell me what it is.
Damn it.
Big egg guy, Scotland.
All right, well, thanks guys.
Cool, man.
Appreciate having us. Appreciate the time, and thanks for getting us kicked off for 2024. This has been the Real Wealth Podcast. I'm Alex Robertson, and thanks for joining us on this wealth journey.
Let's do it.